In the history of nightlife, some places are more than just buildings with loud music. They are moments in time, cultural touchstones that define an era. And in the heart of the disco inferno, one name burned brighter than any other, a place called the Odyssey. It began, as most legends do, in obscurity, a forgotten textile warehouse in a part of the city the streetlights had given up on. But one man saw potential in the decay. He envisioned not just a club, but a sanctuary, a shimmering, bass-thumping escape from the beige reality of the 9-to-5 world. Workers tore down the old and built up the new. Walls were painted star-field black. Miles of wiring were run for a sound system that could rattle your soul, and at its center, a dance floor made of illuminated glass panels that pulsed with the beat like the very heart of the night itself. When the doors first opened, the world changed. The Odyssey wasn't a place you just went to, it was a place you tried to get into. A velvet rope guarded by a notoriously selective doorman was the thin line between the mundane world outside and the electric universe within. Inside, it was a collision of worlds. Wall Street brokers danced alongside aspiring artists, movie stars hid in plain sight, and fashion designers scouted their next muses among the crowd. The air was thick with perfume, glitter, and the intoxicating promise that for one night you could be anyone you wanted to be. The fashion was a spectacle in itself. Halston gowns, sequined jumpsuits, and sky-high platform shoes were the uniform. It was a peacock parade of glamour and glorious excess, where the goal wasn't just to be seen, but to be remembered. And the stories became modern myths. The time a famous artist rode a white horse across the dance floor, the New Year's Eve party where 4 tons of glitter were dumped from the ceiling at midnight, blanketing the ecstatic crowd in stardust. These weren't just parties, they were meticulously crafted theatrical productions. At the center of it all, elevated in a booth that looked more like a spaceship's cockpit, was the DJ. He wasn't just playing records, he was a conductor, a shaman of sound. He would seamlessly blend tracks, building the energy of the room from a simmer to a rolling boil, holding thousands of people in a state of collective euphoria. The music was the gospel. The 4-on-the-floor beat of disco was the club's relentless pulse. It was a sound of liberation, of joy, of pure, unadulterated release. Here, songs weren't just 3-minute radio hits, they were extended 12-inch odysseys of their own, designed for one purpose, to keep you dancing until dawn. But no golden age lasts forever. The cultural tide began to turn. Outside the velvet ropes, a backlash was brewing. The disco sucks movement gained traction, painting the scene as frivolous and elitist. The very escapism the Odyssey offered was now seen as a disconnect from a grittier, changing world. The music on the radio began to shift. New wave and punk offered a raw, angry alternative to disco's polished sheen. The club, once the epicenter of cool, started to feel like a relic of a fleeting moment. The A-listers found new places to play. The exclusive mystique began to fade, and the once impenetrable door policy grew lax. The crowds changed. The energy shifted from euphoric celebration to something a little more desperate, a little more hollow. The magic was leaking out. Financial troubles, the dark shadow of the era's excess, and changing tastes all conspired against it. The Odyssey, once a supernova, was collapsing under its own weight. The pulsating lights that once seemed so futuristic now just seemed dated. Then came the night of the final song. It wasn't a grand, explosive ending, but a quiet, bittersweet fade-out. One last dance for the diehards and the dreamers who remained. The DJ played a final, soulful track. The beat slowed, and for the first time in years, the dance floor fell silent. The lights came up, revealing a floor covered in the scuffs and glitter of a decade of dreams. The doors were locked one last time, and the neon sign that had been a beacon for a generation flickered and went dark. The building still stands, a silent monument to a time of glorious abandon. But the Odyssey was never just about the 4 walls. It was a feeling, a fleeting moment of unity under a spinning mirror ball, proving that for a little while a nightclub could feel like the center of the entire universe.